Okay. After a day-long hiatus, we're back to Vagrus, the Riven realms. For my second run, I have never played this before. This is a recent game. So I'm still in the tutorial. Hopefully we'll be wrapping up the tutorial in this play. Now yesterday, started the tutorial, had to go all the way down here, go around this little magma pit here, to get to the city of Avernum. The city of Avernum. You can smell its foul stench even as you approach its mighty gates set in dark walls decorated with the bones of gigantic creatures. The dry, sulphurous reek of the region so close to the molten tongue mixes with the bitter, ashen stink of the many foundries and forges in the city. Over the walls, the rooftops and chimneys of the city lean together in a jumble. Buildings on the lower part of the hill are more dilapidated, while the ones near the top are in better condition in general, with a walled-off villa appearing here and there. A group of guards stop you as the Comitatus moves ponderously under the gate arch. While your cargo and men are being checked, you can see several of the grim, black-clad legionnaires of the Avernus Legion standing guard beneath the gate towers, staring at you. "Gate tax is 2 changers," the head guardsman says after getting the confirmation from his men that everything is in order. A slave next to him bows to you and holds up the open money box he carries chained to him. I did some of this not yesterday, but 2 days ago, but it didn't let me save when I wanted. It only saves on certain instances, so I didn't get too far. I hope my connection's stable. So I'll pay the gate tax. Having passed through the city gate, you arrive at the cobbled plaza on the other side. You head towards the Manzio, the large inn for Comitati, without delay to set yourself up there and have some rest after the arduous journey. In an hour, everything is settled. Your beasts are stabled, your cargo is unloaded into the warehouse, and most of your crew is resting already. Join a Manzio. The house Comitati and other groups of travelers. They are often circular, with a spacious plaza in the middle, and stables all around it to house all kinds of beasts of burden. So, sounds like a pretty nice place here. Just as you are about to head into the common room and order a drink for yourself, Javik approaches you and draws you aside. "There's someone here to see you, boss. Someone sent by our nightly friend. Says she wants to talk to you discreetly. She's waiting behind the stables," Javik says in hushed tones. "It was foolish to think that you have rid yourself of Sidarius and his agenda, even for a few hours. But you have little choice. Hear the messenger out. The woman waiting for you in the shadows behind the stables of the Manzio is wearing a large hood and a long cape over a dark gray, featureless tunic. As you approach, she throws the hood back, revealing the markings of someone in the service of Azkol, god of the underworld. A face painted pale with dark eyeshadow to give the impression of a skull. You suspect that she is a novice attached to the Order of the Black Sun, or an acolyte of the Church of Azkol. The woman looks around furtively. There is nobody nearby, just you and Javik. "Greetings from our mutual friend, the Knight, Dominus," the young woman says quietly after looking you in the eye. "I was sent here to take you to him when you're ready. I'll wait here. Just don't take too long. He's very eager to meet you. From now on, you can visit Sidarius and Avernum." Before you set out, Javik draws you aside. "So it would seem that we'll stay here longer than we had expected. It occurs to me that such a delay would be a strain on our resources, and I rather doubt that our knightly friend cares about that. You have considered this also. Javik goes on as you rub your chin thoughtfully. I was thinking we could smelt the scrap metal we bought. I know it would cost us, but hear me out. Not only does smelted metal take up less space in the cargo hold, but it could also allow us to sell a fraction of it for great profit here. It's a loss in the long run, but we have to pay the crew if we are to tarry here, don't we? You have to admit, he is making a lot of sense. You can smelt down the metal and sell some of the bars for an injection of coins if need be. The two of you make ready to set out. The Manzio plane is now active. There's a lot of stuff to do here. Go to the fighting pit, and I'll be doing that pretty soon. This is a Manzio plane. Manzios are in specialized for comitati. When you rest in the Manzio, the day ends and you'll get an end day scene similar to when you camp in the wilderness. Crew hand on the left, Manzio stock on the right. Hire dismissed crew, as well as sell beasts in the Manzio. Switch between crew and beast with the buttons at the top. The type of beast can be changed here at great cost, but this is locked in. Pilgrims of the Wasteland. Hold space. Rumors can be purchased here. Passengers. Exchange news. Yeah, I went through this the other day. Yeah, I am broke. Let's see. Rumors. I could barely afford these rumors. Trade news. I wonder if that costs anything. Okay. So apparently in this game, it takes a long time for characters to heal. She's still at 6 out of 14 health, or vitality as they call it. Appearance. Oh. Wonder how I'm supposed to smelt all this down like he was suggesting. Guess I go to the foundry. Foundries. Avernum is a city of foundries and smelters due to its proximity to areas where ore can still be prospected or scavenged on the continent. Below the Villa district, the streets between the walls and the central hill are stacked with metallurgists' workshops and smithies. More than anywhere else in the city, the air is almost black with smoke that belches forth from the many chimneys and furnaces. It is unbearably hot here. Yet many people flock to here to do business with the smelters and smiths. What is your business here? Talk to the smiths about equipment made of metal, smelt metal scraps into ingots, leave the foundries. I'm going to smelt these into ingots. Smelting metal scraps will free up precious cargo space, as it's much easier to pack and store ingots, and you could sell those just as well when you get to Devon. You only need to pay a small fee for an intelligence each time they smelt your scraps. Guess I'll do it some more. You talk to several smiths about how to make your carts more resilient by reinforcing them with metal. Eventually, you come to an accord. You'll provide the metal and a fee. It will take a few days to complete the task. Let's go back here. Iron is a rarity these days in the post-calamity world. Price history feature. What the hell was that? Metals. Iron. I got 2 iron. I can sell it for quite a pretty penny. Back to the foundries. This is a new option. Smelt down the arms and armor of the dead Surgarodites. Wonder if I should do that. I don't know if Sadaris would get upset about that or not. Look at this picture. I think it's cool that the beasts of burden are these giant lizards. I don't know what that is over here. It looks like a scorpion or a lobster or something. Oh, what's all this? I got copper. Copper and bronze. Not doing too bad. It is a tutorial, so I'm being led by the hand. I understand that. I'm probably going to die left and right in this game later on. Well, I'm here to sell metal, aren't I? I'm balling now. I should buy more supplies. I don't know. Dried fruit. What does this stack? 250 in a stack. Let's see. Spice. Mushroom beer. I'm gonna hold off on that for right now. Don't they have any medical equipment? I need some of that. Bogweed. When smoked, bogweed makes one relaxed and gleeful, sought after throughout the known world. See, it doesn't tell you what it does, but I'm pretty sure that boosts your cruise morale. Bone. I'm pretty sure in a world like this you can find bone for free. Flavo crystal. What's this? Okay. Back to the town. What am I doing? Bits of information. News degrades over time, becoming less fresh. It means less valuable in general. I screwed up, I think. I sold that metal. I was supposed to bring that to, I think? I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm going to go meet Sidarius. Sidarius' hideout is in a tumbled down set of stone buildings about a block away from the Temple of Surgarod. You can reach it by going into the enclosed courtyard of several houses, entering the cellars, and ascending a well-hidden set of stairs. There's always a novice or two down in the cellar on guard duty. The apartment Sidarius occupies is owned by the church, but few know of it even among the anointed. It is usually used when they have someone to hide, which is fairly rare. It's not well furnished and quite dirty. The knight Sidarius usually sits at a decrepit table or paces back and forth like a black lion. Ask Sidarius to pay for your gate tax. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that. Report to Sidarius. Ask him about his mission near the Voiceless Lane. I already asked him all that stuff. Excuse me a minute. Let us begin, Vagrus. There is no time to waste. You can almost hear Sidarius' teeth grinding as the two of you talk about the investigation. He's clearly on edge for being powerless while confined to this hideout of his. He begins explaining the situation after you sit down. When I arrived here on request of the Order to root out the abolitionists plaguing the region, we assume that they are no more than well-organized gangs laying ambushes on travelers out in the wasteland. Perhaps some idealists and bored aristocrats in the city aid escaped slaves that join their ranks, but nothing more. A nuisance. Now I am absolutely sure that quite a lot of powerful people are involved in this whole mess, since they have the audacity and resources to set a trap for my contingent. That required coordination between the slaves and the slave lovers. Therefore, I conclude that the people my initial investigation involved had to have been in cahoots with the abolitionists. You need to find them and learn all you can about what they are hiding. Because we are dealing with powerful people, you need to apply subterfuge. There are 3 sources you have to investigate. These 3 targets were all close to the lead that guided us in the ambush up north. Who is your first target? Our first suspect is Assistant Magistrate Galutius Darrow. He was the one assigned to my cohort when we took up the investigation in Avernum. He coordinated with local law enforcement and served as a mouthpiece for the Prefectus and his magistrates. I have no doubt that he has to be involved in some way. Getting to him would not be easy, but I figure something related to me and my contingent's fate would pique his interest. Therefore, go to the Slag Fort and report to officials that you have information about my fate. That will almost certainly get you an audience with Darrow. Tell him that you've come across signs of battle and the remains of Surgarodites up north. When he asks if there is a Knight of the Order among them, tell him no. You ask him what purpose this would serve other than alerting him and his fellow conspirators. Well, you do not have the powers of a priest of Surgarod at your disposal, but you do have the next best thing, he says with a predatory smile and looks at Javik. Your friend stirs and seems uncomfortable, but nods. I can read his mind. This topic will surely divert his thoughts on the matter, making the scan much easier. I think Javik was saying that. I had to change up my voice. Who was the second target? Next, we have Centurion Vardus Pendius. God damn it, okay. We have Centurion Vardus Pendius, a drunkard fallen from grace. The old soldier was key to the lead we got in our initial investigation. He has been tasked with leading a patrol in the North Reaches between Arenas Negras and the Molten Tongue. According to his report, they found tracks out in the rough terrain and followed them almost to the Voiceless Lake. There they stumbled upon a sizable camp hidden in some ravines. They turned back because they were severely outnumbered, and Pendius knew the camp was either outlaws or a liberated tribe. But when they were leaving, they got ambushed by these hostiles. Only 3 soldiers survived, but when Pendius made it back to Avernum, conveniently. Zidarius frowns. Pendius is now enjoying his leave of duty. I need you to get him stinking drunk and deftly question him about these matters. I am sure that his report is completely fake, but he may let slip who made him lie in the courts. He is a regular at the Rusty Pugio. What about the third target? Finally, there's the Smelters Collegium. Word is they run half the city, especially its criminals. They were not directly involved in the plot, but whoever armed the abolitionists must have done it through them. Also, whatever the damn slave lovers take from the comitati that fall victim to them has to go through this city's black market, also run by the Collegium. They never talk to a Surgarodite, but they would talk to you. See what you can do, learn from them, but be prepared to be clever or they'll get suspicious. Zidarius puts a copper coin on the table. This should be more than enough for bribes. Use your guile, or your sorcerer's telepathy, or whatever, I don't care. Just glean from them as much as you can from the abolitionist contacts in the city. One of their headquarters is a tavern called Gallows Anvil. Now you know everything to start your investigation. We'll see Darrow first. You decide to follow up on which of the leads given you by Sidarius. Which one will you choose? You only pursue one of them. Only 1 of 3 investigations per day. To your mild amusement, the plan Sidarius came up with to lure in the assistant magistrate works. Upon arriving to the slag fort, you tell one of the clerk slaves in service of the courts that you have news about some Surgarod followers you think were killed in the north. The slave asks you to wait until he reports this to one of the administrators. Before you can sit down with said bureaucrat, a clerk arrives to tell you that Assistant Magistrate Darrow will personally listen to your account. You are escorted to the offices at the top floor of the courts. You are told to knock and enter. Javik looks at you knowingly as you stand before the office door. Morwen is picking your nails. You knock and enter. You find yourself inside a spacious office with small slit windows looking out onto the courtyard of the slag fort. There's a desk here with scrolls stacked up on one side and a few open ones lying in the middle. Maps of the region are on the walls, and rows of shelves hold even more scrolls. A clerk slave busies herself with organizing these. A middle-aged man with a warm smile rises from the desk at the chair. From the chair at the desk, okay. He has dark eyes and a receding hairline. Over his orange tunic is the sash of his office, blue and purple, with a silver clasp holding it at his shoulder. He introduces himself as Geludis Darrow. My subordinates tell me you have news of a group of Surgarodites. We are awaiting a cohort of such constitution back to the city, but we're beginning to be worried that something happened to them as they are late. Perhaps you might have heard of them. Tell him that you did not know about this cohort of his. Tell him you've heard rumors in the city that such a company has left a while ago. Odd that you came here right away without gathering news in the city first. I would have thought a Vagrus such as yourself is well informed. But oh well, I'm sure your patriotism got the better of you. Because if I understand correctly, you're about to tell me bad news. He gestures towards a chair for you to sit down on. You do as Javik and Morwen stand behind you. You tell him the fake story Sidarius concocted. You tell him that you were forced to come here by a rogue knight of the Black Sun. Number 1. Just start at the beginning. You clear your throat before starting. My comitatus was traveling from Scrap Heap south along the Molten Tongue. We came across the Voiceless Lake and started hearing noises of battle. We approached and found dead bodies lying everywhere, and my scouts returned with news of dead bodies to the east of us. I decided to investigate carefully, and we saw some undead to the east, shambling back and forth. We got rid of them right away, only to find bodies nearby. Now, the thing is, I don't know what he already knows, so I should probably try to keep this as close to accurate as possible. What else? What happened? So you mean to say that there was no fighting going on by the time you arrived? Asked Darrow, eyebrows raised. No, they must have killed each other just at the time we got there. I was just about to get to that. My scouts found a few undead, badly battered. They disposed of them quickly. Fuck. Go on, says Darrow, scratching his chin thoughtfully. We checked the bodies. There was a lot of undead, mostly the smoldering variant. It was clear that there was a great battle there. The other bodies all belonged to the same group. They were all Surgarodites and their armed followers, a handful of them badly mutilated by the undead. We checked and found no survivors. We took no belongings of the dead. We took some weapons and whatever valuables we could find on them. Number 2. Understandable. These might be of great value, and you are a businessman. Your report now makes up for what you took, Vagrus. You carry on with the report. You conclude the story by telling him that you have not come across any undead or Surgarodites, living or dead, on your journey here. Have you seen a knight among the bodies, perhaps? Tall fellow, blonde hair, broad shoulders, dark armor, and quite an exquisite helmet. Fights with a great sword, Darrow asks after a brief pause. You tell him you did not find anyone among the bodies matching the description, even though you checked them fairly thoroughly. The assistant magistrate thanks you and promises to bring the report before the high-ups in the city. Should they decide to further question you, they'll find you at your berth. You take your leave. Long after you've left the slag fort, Javik tells you that the plan has worked. I read his thoughts on the matter. It is clear that he knew much about the setting of the trap. He got really upset when he told him Sidarius might be alive and well. He thought about his career and the prefect, but also to report this to someone called Hanvius as soon as he can. You return to the Manzio. Price history. Map. Alright, I can only do one per day. Well, time to go to sleep then, I guess. Second investigation. Find Centurion Vardus Pendius at the Rusty Pugio. Get this guy drunk. The Rusty Pugio is a fairly clean establishment with primarily soldier and veteran regulars. Because of this, not many shady fellows visit the place. That does not mean, however, that the regulars are well behaved or sober. You can see a legionnaire passed out on the bench, while a few auxiliary troopers are playing a dice game in the far corner, laughing and swearing foully. You ask the barman if Vardus Pendius is here, and he points you to a swarthy, short, pot-bellied man in his 40s, wearing the dirty armor and uniform of a centurion. His helmet rests next to him on the bar. He's drinking alone. Sit next to him and buy him a drink. Talk to the bartender. Ask Javik to smile on his mind. Gonna smile on his mind. Javik concentrates briefly while looking in the general direction of the Centurion. He sighs after a few seconds and turns away. Can't do it, boss. He's drunk. Which means his thoughts are behind a kind of fog. Even if he wasn't, I can't find specific things. I can only read what he's thinking about. You need to guide him to think about the patrol, and even so, there's no guarantee that my abilities will be useful here. You nod and decide what to do next. Play it cautious, talk to the bartender. The bartender leans closer as you gesture to her. large shoulders, and a Legionnaire tattoo indicating that she's a veteran. You carefully tell her that you wish to spice up Pendius's drinks but mean him no harm. Her eyes narrow, the scar on her cheek twists in a wicked smile. Good luck with that old boozer if you think you can get him smashed, but why would I help? You convince the bartender to spice up Pendius's drinks from now on. High chance of success. Alright, haggle with her so you sit next to Penny, buy him a normal drink. It could be too expensive. Ask Javik to spend his turn. Alright. You take the first mug of spiced up booze to the Centurion. Vardis Pendius eyes the drink suspiciously, but his alcoholism gets the better of him, and giving you a friendly smile, he takes it. And what do I owe this gift, friend? Fellow soldier? It don't look like that to me. He slurs his words as his eyes you up and down. The two of you start to chat, with Javik sitting at a table in line of sight. You know you have to bring the conversation to the patrol he was at near the Molten Tongue, so that your friend could read his corresponding thoughts. Pendius is already more than tipsy from the spiced up booze, but he's still a little wary. You do your best to guide a conversation there and not raise his suspicion. Continue to buy him spiced up drinks until he's drunk enough to outsmart. High chance of success. Yeah. Pendius has formidable resilience when it comes to booze, yet you manage to get him blind stinking drunk. You also guide the conversation to his notorious patrol to the north that only he survived. Not even his intoxication can hide the fear when he talks about the recon mission. Not what you think it was. Those poor boys deserve not this, he laments. You could swear there are tears in his eyes. He mumbles about the whole affair not being what it seemed. Soon afterwards, you excuse yourself, but by then Pendius is non-coherent anyways. You and Javik leave the Rusty Fugio. You get back to the Manzio, where Javik tells you he was mostly successful in reading the drunkard's thoughts on the patrol. He's clearly paranoid about the whole matter. He recalled his comrades killed, but not out there in the waste, but in some kind of death trap in a large room. All young recruits. I think they publicly set up his patrol only to kill off everyone but him, and told him to pretend they got slaughtered by abolitionists in the north. Basically, they created a fake story to make our nightly associate and his cohort think they are going to find a camp there. It boggles my mind how far they went to protect something. He kept thinking about Scoria, the district here in town. Maybe the massacre was done here. You are done with this part of the investigation. Let's go explore the city. You walk through the streets of the city under ashen skies, taking a few of your best with you. Avernum is large, a city of opportunities, but also of untold dangers. One can find all sorts of interesting things if one looks. Go for a walk and see what you find. You climb the stairs and terraces that lead up to the higher tier of the city. It is quite tough in the choking smog, yet pays off when the musky scent of mushrooms hits your nose. Opening from a side street is one of the entrances to the public gardens of Avernum. You decide to take a walk and clear your head. Winding pathways create a veritable maze among the trunks of the great mushrooms that stand thick as trees of a forest. Under the canopy of the caps, the soothing darkness is only broken by well-placed crystal lamps along the cobbled paths. It is like stepping into another world. There's no drifting ash, nor the clamor of the city. The air is cool and not as dry as out in the streets. You sit down in one of the gazebos and ruminate for hours. It is most tranquil here. You are in a good mood after your rest at the gardens, and it radiates to others. Oh, that's nice. There isn't a real arena in Avernum, but no Imperial city could be imagined without at least a fighting pit. The one in this city is fairly large, however. Recently has not seen a lot of fights in spite of public demand. You learned that no Lanista favors the place since a gladiator revolt a few months back, which left dozens dead and most pit fighters gone. Since then, the pit has been used for public executions only. That is about to change, however, as a new man in charge wants to see the place rise again. This might even give you an opportunity to have your companions fight in the pit, as they are given the chances. If they are given the chance to anyone right now. What's a Lanista? Our owners and traders are gladiators, but in the Fourth Age, a term is specifically used for people who become professional gladiator managers. Huh. Okay. Seek out the medicos. It might be beneficial to your own crew. The fat medicos greet you with a smile. She's quite a disgusting character, but they say she's really good at what she does, patching up pit fighters from wounds that by all rights should kill them. The medicos has a lot of spare medical supplies, since there are only a few fights and she's willing to part with them. So get on the fights. Today's bettings are open for the evening fight. You know nothing about the contestants, but you might get lucky. To your surprise, the fighters you placed your bet on managed to down the opponent. Not a pretty sight, but you keep smiling nonetheless. It's a shame about the odds were not great to begin with. Hey, I got 6 cents. Leave the fighting pit. I'll check up on these rumors later. Passengers, where's he want to go? Trar. I don't know where that is. check out the Smelters Collegium and Gallows Anvil. The Collegium's headquarters is a large tavern called Gallows Anvil, right next to a bathhouse at the border of Scoria. In the streets below the Villa district filled with foundries and metallurgical workshops. The place is among the better ones in town, and the regulars are smiths, smelters, novices, and merchants. All belong to the Smelters Collegium. It would not be difficult to find someone higher up in the guild and talk to them. Javik can scan whoever you talk to for surface thoughts, but asking about their possible connection to abolitionists might raise suspicion. So how do you want to approach them? Pretend that you are a merchant wanting to deal in the black market. Introduce yourself as someone seeking to join the abolitionists. Attempt to bribe them for information directly. One or two, I'm divided. Excuse me a moment. Pretend that you are a merchant. I'm going to pretend I'm a merchant. The two fellows you and Javik end up talking to, representatives of the Collegium, are quite open to letting you buy wares from the black market for a modest contribution to the guild. They do have some questions about how you learned of their involvement with the market, though. After you assure them it was from business associates outside of the city, they seem content. Then they ask you what kind of goods you wish to buy. Tell them you heard a cheap contraband they got from ill-fortuned Comitati. You're interested in that. Tell them you want to buy slaves. I don't know what they're going to be suspicious of worse. I think if I say this, you know. Do I have... Wish I could look at my stats right now. See if they have any goods. Stuff gets redistributed in the wasteland, so to speak, explains one of them, a fellow with a bushy beard. Some of our associates find them and bring them to us. It's good stuff, too. Weapons, tools. We also repair them, make them better. So if you give us the order for what you're looking for, and our people will come to you with the goods. You tell them you'll think about placing an order before you leave town. Time to leave. You consult Javik when you are far from Gallows Anvil. He looks exhausted. Sorry, boss. It was very tough jumping between mines. Didn't get much from them apart from a sense that our nightly friend's suspicion was well founded. They surely have dealings with the abolitionists, but protect their identities far more vehemently than that of simple illegal business partners. I could not get much, except a glimpse of a street with a long yellow building where one guy was thinking about contacting their associates. That'll have to do, it seems. Report your findings on the 3 suspects. Finally, Sidarius says scornfully when you return and tell him you are done with the investigations. There are a few other Surgaradites in the room watching silently. You recount everything you learned in the past few days, and Javik details his mental scans. Sidarius and his cronies listen intently. Following your report, Sidarius goes behind closed doors with 2 priests of Surgarad and a couple of executors while you are told to stay put for now. They emerge after a quarter of an hour and the executors leave right away. The knight approaches you with an uncharacteristic smile on his otherwise grim face. We've got them now, Vagrus. Thanks to the information you provided, we have located the trader's headquarters in the city, a long yellow building, the district of Scoria, and a man named Hanvius. It so happens that Gaius Hanvius, a wealthy merchant and city official who is known to be conducting shady business in the name of the Perfectus, owns a large yellow warehouse in Scoria. The whole block is abandoned, making it an ideal place for a hideout. That may not mean anything, Javik starts to say with a frown before Sidarius interrupts him. No, they are there. All of us can sense their treacherous stench, and Surgarad's servants are never wrong about such things. The way he says it shuts Javik up for good. Bring your men, Vagrus. We strike as soon as you are ready. Wait a minute, you tell him you're to help with the investigation, nothing more. That'll cost you extra. You tell him that it's more than you signed up for. It is my honor to serve the Empire. You know how to take your leave, awaiting instructions. All right, I'll help out if I must. You let him know you don't like this at all. Well, let's see. It is more than I signed up for. Cost you extra. Sidarius looks at you for a long, silent moment before speaking. The priests are also fixing you with their grim gazes. I told you the Empire needed you and your crew to conclude the investigation on the abolitionists. Until their nest is destroyed, the investigation is not concluded. The local temple will send every able hand to set up an ambush on the warehouse, but with your help, we will be able to guarantee nobody escapes the snare. Do not fail me in this, and the Order will be grateful. It seems like you won't be able to get more for him just yet. Leaving the hideout, you set out to the Manzia. You can see how Javik is worried. He sighs. I don't like where this is going, boss. The last thing we needed was getting involved in this conspiracy with the local underworld, the city leaders, bandits, and the damn fanatics all tearing each other apart with us in the middle. For the first time in a long while, I don't know what you're thinking. Just when you're about to say something, he goes on. You don't have to say anything. Just know that this is how I see things now, and also that many fellows in the crew are thinking the same. We know there's little you can do to get rid of our nightly parasite at present, but keep in mind what we originally set out to do. You keep walking, thinking about what he said. The two of you return to the Manzia. You can't help but thinking how this will end. Prepare for what is to come. 7 insight. End. See if I can get her healed up again. There we go. The warehouse. You arrive at the rendezvous point set by Sidarius, accompanied by your fighting crew only. It is a few blocks away from the warehouse itself, in the enclosed atrium of an abandoned house. A group of grim-faced and visibly anxious Sigurati novices is gathered around several priests and executors. The Black Knight is also there, standing tall next to a wall, arms crossed, looking at his allies thoughtfully. Everything happens fairly fast afterward. You learn of the attack plan that involves the Siguradites surrounding the warehouse and blocking all exits, while a force of executors and priests attack from two sides. In the meantime, you take your companions and Sidarius to the third rear door in an alley and deal with the ones that remain. The strike force sets out immediately. Following Sidarius, you go around several blocks and end up behind the warehouse. The attack commences as planned, with novices running into the streets. Your group enters the back alley just as you heard the shouts and painful cries. The main force must have entered the warehouse. You don't even make it to the back door when it bursts open and several armed men rush out. Your companions and fighters engage them right away. Who's this dude? Ow. Better just kill this person, right? Son of a bitch. supposed to... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. You were quickly finishing off stragglers and gathered your team after the skirmish when a wounded priest stumbles out of the back entrance. Panting, he tells you that the warehouse is cleared out, but a group of abolitionists managed to break out and escape the rooftops towards the south. Sidarius beckons you, and you start to run. You catch up with your fleeing foes as they descend from a low building's roof onto an abandoned street. One of them, an archer, spots you and lets loose an arrow. It pierces the throat of one of your fighters, who tumbles to the ground. Sidarius charges ahead with a war cry. Your group and theirs clash moments later. A brutal fight commences. Oh, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. Clearly wounded, the archer manages to get away. Her men sacrifice themselves to save her. There's no point in trying to catch her, as your own companions are fairly badly bruised themselves. You trudge back to the warehouse, now secured by the Surgarodites. The streets are a grim sight. Bodies or parts of them lie everywhere. Mostly abolitionists, but quite a lot of novices too. An executor reports to Sidarius. Apparently, all but a handful of the enemy was slain, while they lost a priest, 2 executors, and a dozen novices. In spite of that, it is clearly visible that they are elated by the bloodshed. They have also taken a prisoner who is being questioned, as testified by the painful cries coming from the warehouse. Sidarius tells you to wait here while he personally interrogates the captive. Oh, what? Like I'm supposed to care about the poor people that killed my one of my fighters? I say nothing. The painful cries and sobs escalate shortly after Sidarius enters the warehouse, only turning to dead silence after a couple of minutes. The knight returns a moment later. Something tells you he got what he wanted. Surgarod is with us, Vagrus. We have struck a major blow to the enemy. Judging from the contraband in this building, these abolitionists have been smuggling goods they took from Komitati and other travelers for years now. The tunnel they dug under the wall that connects to the warehouse confirms this, the Black Knight says, bristling. Our prisoner was kind enough to tell on his friends, though. There are 3 camps hidden in Arenas Vorax, where they direct their attacks from, each no more than several days of travel from Avernum to the south and east. Our next move is to strike at these camps now that their operation in the city is eliminated. Their supporters and allies will lay low for quite a while after today's show of force. He pauses, looking at you with a piercing gaze. I have decided that we'll join your comitatus, and you'll help us seek these camps in the wasteland. No way. I have done all you asked. It was supposed to end here. I may go along with this, but you'll have to give me more than promises now. Fair enough. Not like I can deter you, right? I'll go with number 2. There's a hint of indignance in the Black Knight's voice as he speaks. The moment we capture their leader, that archer bitch, you'll get your reward, as well as the eternal gratitude of my order. Or are you doubting my words? To underline this point, several Surgarodites move closer to you and your companions. All of a sudden, the alley feels very crowded. You do not wish to defy the will of Surgarod, do you, Vagrus? Should you do so, a terrible curse will be placed on you and your crew. This gaze will not be lifted until I say so. Consider your comitatus commandeered until the business is finished. From this point onwards, you and your crew are always accompanied by Surgarodites. Javik says nothing, but you can almost feel his ire. Is it directed at you? For better or for worse, your fate seems tied to that of the abolitionists. Before you leave the site of the brutal fight, Sidarius turns to you. So that you know how valuable your aid is to the Empire and its tireless servants, I want you to know this. I hereby vow in the name of Surgarod that should you aid me in eliminating the threat of these abolitionists and help me capture their leader, I shall set you free from your services and see to it that you'll be most handsomely rewarded. The knight has a constipated look, like somebody who has a really hard time admitting something. He clears his throat. Now, I hope that this suffices. Go and see to your business quickly here. Here quickly. We set out as soon as you are able. You take your leave and trudge back to the Manzia with your companions, bruised and bone-tired. A platoon of Surgarod executors already guard the inn by the time you get there, packed and ready to leave Avernum with you. You turn in for the night. End. Hey, she's still around. Game saved, a new day. minus borax. Quicksand, oh great. People who survived in shelters called Tectum and emerged hundreds of years after the cataclysm to retake the area. They fought fierce battles with the sandworms of the area and now occupy the oasis and underground cities that dot the endless dune sea. These territories are officially under Imperial control, but in truth this role is fairly loose, except for a few cities. Where's that at? Arenas Negras. Ah. Well, let's see. You will need a sizable contingent of fighters and working crew to be able to take the fight to these camps, so I'm thinking I should probably do some grinding here. Some trade, but I have no idea what to sell to other cities. Only places I've been. Well. Music's pretty good in this game. I want to hear more of it. Oh, let's see. Go to the Slag Fort. The mighty Slag Fort is the headquarters of the city guard, the Avernus Legion, and the Prefectus himself. The fort overlooks the city from atop a hill on the south side, its main tower looming threateningly above the streets close by. Made entirely of the same kind of dark stone, the Slag Fort is completely black now thanks to the layers of soot that covers its surfaces. Scrutinized briefly by the grim legionnaires at the gate, you enter the courtyard of the fort, which houses a few institutions the public can visit. The offices of the city guard, the courts, and the bounty offices. Go to the bounty office, report some areas to the Avernus Legion, perhaps you can get rid of them that way. Leave the Slag. I don't think that's going to work. Bounty office. Bounty office is housed in a small, dilapidated building behind the courts. A group of unsavory types is awaiting in front of it to be called in. Bounty hunters. We don't need their scum here. Mean-looking trophies and cruel weapons hang from their belts. You wait in line to speak to the general bounty officer and get in after a quarter of an hour. A diminutive, bespectacled man. Where do they have eyeglasses in this world? The bureaucrat gives you a boring speech on the bounties that are available. You figure there's no point in competing with the local hunters for city bounties, but the ones out in the wasteland are your turf. There is a bounty on an especially large chakra There's a bounty on a pesky outlaw chieftain. There's a bounty on roaming undead abomination. I better hold off on that stuff for right now. Sorcerer. The Tower of Incanus, the sorcerer, stands at the border of the hill, overlooking the streets and alleys filled with foundries and forges on the northeast side of Avernum. Half engulfed in smog, the tower stands much taller than any building nearby. The soot-covered walls made of black stone are so smooth that it looks almost seamless. A line of gigantic fang-like spikes crowns the flat top of the tower. You walk up to the iron gate where a large eye carved out of obsidian comes alive and gives you a good stare before emitting a strange moan and becoming motionless again. The gates open slowly to reveal a spacious antechamber that you enter. The roof is supported by black, smooth stone pillars. Magical lights float sleepily around like fireflies. There are sofas and chairs here, enough to seat a dozen guests in great comfort. Somehow the place feels odd. It is many times larger on the inside than it should be judging from the outside. The imposing figure of Incanus stands motionless in the center of the antechamber and greets you in a monotone voice. You can't figure out if he's bored or simply lacks emotions in general, but he's courteous and very perceptive. You can only feel his piercing gaze from under the large hood of his crimson robes. There is something on your mind, Vagrus. Something you hope I'll provide a solution for. And you know that it'll have a price, he drawls. Tell me what you can about the last pilgrimage and cause a lyric, I don't know. He is a collector of rarities and curios. Perhaps he's interested in one of your items. Pay him to identify something for you. Leave for now. You did everything you came here for. Tell me about the last pilgrimage. The sorcerer hesitates only a little before motioning with his long-fingered hand for you to sit down. You comply. Something tells me that you've had an encounter with this cavalcade of spirits. Tell me about it, he says after he pockets your coins and sits down himself. You carefully recite your chance meetings with the last pilgrimage. Every now and then Incanus interrupts you to ask very specific questions about your experiences with the specters. He seems especially interested in your visions that triggered when the undead procession was near. Incanus stays silent and motionless for a long while after you finish telling the story. At length, he stirs and asks you in a rasping voice, "What is it exactly that you'd like to know?" What is the last pilgrimage? How did it come to be? What happens when they run into someone? Is it possible that they are following me? Can they be defeated somehow? What could my visions mean? I'm going to go down the list here. This pilgrimage was initiated just before the calamity, according to legend. They say the weeks of old and deadly omens preceded the catastrophe itself. Rain of blood, purple skies, weird apparitions, visitations from the dead, that kind of phenomena. Initially less in frequency and intensity, the omens were taken as divine warnings by all. However, the interpretation of these signs differed vastly. One group of high priests believed that the elder gods sent these because Imperials strayed from the right path somehow, that they incited their wrath and the gods had to be appeased. Thus, they converged in the north, either in Taut or in Mortacpolis. Nobody knows for certain. And they gathered a vast procession of followers and lesser clergymen around them. The priests then announced that in order to earn the forgiveness of the gods, they are to walk to the capital and pray along the way. They cast down all their rich garments and trinkets and set out, barefoot and full of hope. And Candace holds a dramatic pause. Yet their hopes and prayers were in vain. As the pilgrimage gained followers by the thousands while they proceeded south along the Emperor's Road, the calamity struck. Most of the pilgrims died in agony as the cursed winds tore their flesh off their bones and rived their souls. But the priests endured. I did not say lived on purpose. twisted and reanimated by the dark power of the cataclysm, they rose again as undead abominations and continued their journey. Only, now they appear and disappear without any discernible logic and move in strange angles as a ghastly procession of specters. They are doomed to wander forever, never reaching their goal, never resting, never knowing peace, and never gaining the forgiveness of the gods because those gods are dead and gone. You shudder under the sorcerer's gaze. Now when they are cursed to wander the wasteland eternally, they appear suddenly and disappear shortly after. Most of the time, nobody knows where they are, but when they appear and come in contact with someone, that person is gone forever. Therefore, a clear account of such a meeting is non-existent. One theory suggests that such unfortunate individuals are assimilated into the pilgrimage and wander as disembodied spirits, walking the same eerie path as the tormented souls of the original pilgrims. Others suggest that the cavalcade sustains itself by drawing on the life essence of its victims. Nothing of them is ever found afterward. How do we know this? Sometimes people were able to observe such encounters from a safe distance. The last pilgrimage was known to have destroyed fairly large comitati, so they do not only attack small groups or individuals. Naturally, the number of their victims is vastly overstated, I should say. There are studies of these beings, studies that collected all the reports of their appearances throughout the centuries following the calamity. It appears that they never ever appear south of the Twin Towers, where they failed to reach while alive. It is also quite clear that, given the short time between encounters at distant locations, the last pilgrimage travels via magical means. The most popular notion is some form of teleportation because nobody has ever encountered them in the outer realms. However, they do have the tendency to haunt a specific region or area for a while before moving on. And Canis leans back in his chair and crosses his fingers. However, there was never anyone who met the pilgrimage twice so closely and lived. I find that extraordinary. Even though it's cold in here, you're sweating. Is it possible they are following me? That is the question, isn't it? And Canis scratches his scrawny beard with skeletal fingers. All information collected by the wise throughout the centuries, as well as anecdotal accounts, tell us that the appearance of the pilgrimage is completely random, and there has never been anyone recorded who encountered them twice, not even madmen who were looking for them. So when you tell me about these 2 times you met the pilgrims, I was skeptical, yet I can see that you are telling the truth. The sorcerer clears his throat. There are 2 possibilities, I believe. 1, it was indeed chance, however minuscule, that you happened upon them a second time. The chances of a third encounter are negligible. 2, they were roaming a specific region, in this case, Arenas Negras, and since there is practically nobody in that region, they converge on the only living beings nearby, your comitatus. In any case, I'd avoid the desert of Black Sands and its border ranges for a while if I were you, and thank the gods for surviving 2 such chance meetings. You were not planning to visit the dreadful place anyways. Can they be defeated? Let me answer your question with a question, and Canis leads forward. If that were possible, why do you think no one has ever managed to do so? You gulp involuntarily. What could my visions mean? No account of an encounter with the pilgrimage that I can recall speaks of visions, only apparitions and eerie lights. Yours, and that of your companions, seems to be a unique reaction. I wonder if it has anything to do with your telepathic companion. The sorcerer glances at Javik, who is standing a few yards away, leaning at a pillar. Unlikely, your friend says, frowning. At our second encounter with these beings, I was busy holding our beast of burden from running away with my mind, so I did not see any visions at all. How would it be connected to me if I was the only one not to see anything? I concur, and Canis nods and turns back to you. Unfortunately, dreams, visions, and phantasms are not my area of expertise. I suggest you seek out an oneiromancer or a shaman, perhaps. The Sadarar tribes to the south and west have shamans who are said to communicate with the element and spirits of the world. It may be that such a person can tell you more. Perhaps it'd be wise to seek them out. Nomads and hunters. That is all, you thanking Canis for his help. And Canis looks at you intently. Was there anything else, Vagrus? And Canis examines the items you brought him with great care, but without uttering a word. He offers a price for each of them that pique his interest. It doesn't look like he wants anything. Or maybe it has to be unequipped. And Canis can identify magical items for you for a small fee. If you have such items, now would be the time to show them. I don't have anything. I've been ignoring this for a while. Navigation. Should probably have that. Seems really useful. 14 more. Mind Blast. 5. Damn. What the deuce? For some reason I can't do anything about that. According to the locals, there's a fairly hidden trading post out in the flats about 2 days almost due southeast of Avernum, run by some trading house. There might be a business opportunity there, though a lone wanderer claims they have some trouble brewing at the outpost. Loyal institutions. Ars Mortis. Major ruin. Village. I don't know what to trade to these places because I don't know what they want. Guys. I don't know what to do right now. Oh, hey, Owens 48. What was that, Owens 45? How you doing? Trying to figure out what the hell to do. Guess I'll go to the Temple of Azkul. The Temple of Azkul, King of the Underworld, is a small one, but the necropolis around it makes up for that in size. The whole district is quiet and looks almost deserted, yet the utter silence of the temple grounds really astonishes you. Glum-looking novices in gray tunics work without a word. Robed priests whisper to each other in alcoves and in corridors. Reanimated undead shuffle towards some unsaid task. The inside of the temple looks like a crypt, too, with many wall slots for bones. Even the depiction of the god of death itself is a standing stone sarcophagus, inside which is a statue of a giant robed skeleton. Yet for all their gloominess, the worshippers of Azkul tend to the dead and dying with great care, and are surprisingly open to questions and requests from visitors such as yourself. I don't think there's going to be any quests or anything in here. It doesn't look like it. The Temple of Surgarod. The temple complex of Surgarod in Avernum is quite small compared to most imperial cities, but it's still a menacing sight to behold. Built of dark stone, clearly not from around this place, the buildings are covered with spikes and blades that reach towards the ashen skies. Furious-looking gargoyles, as well as sculptures of Surgarod, in the form of a powerful warrior in spiked armor, riddled the frontispiece. I've never seen that word before. Frontispiece? Huh. Inside, darkness covers all, and only red candles provide some meager light. Novices chant in shadowed alcoves, their grumbling voices adding up to a constant, angry prayer. A priest steps out of the pitch dark and stops you. His painted face and the black attire gives you the shivers. What is it you ask of Surgarod, the Raging One, Lord of Vengeance and Master of Curses? A modest contribution to the Church, and you shall receive the power of retribution. Ooh. Yeah, I guess I can't use that stuff. I'll just give it back, I guess. Would you give them all the looted weapons and armor, or only the holy symbols and personal belongings? The holy symbols. The priests growl a short blessing and assure you that Surgarod will not forget you returning the belongings of his lost servants. You thank them before leaving. Oh, there we go. Ask Surgarod to grant you power in return for serving him. You ask the priest to grant you Surgarod's power. After you are deemed eligible, a priest begins chanting an angry prayer in front of the god's altar. A handful of novices join in. In a matter of minutes, the chant reaches its crescendo and the priest turns to you, eyes ablaze with a raging dark energy. He reaches out and touches your forehead. An anxious, restless power, not unlike a cold rage, saturates you and gives you focus. For a long time afterwards, you feel you have the energy to do anything, and it seems to inspire your crew too. You gain Blessing of Surgarod. Okay. Inform the High Priest about Sidarius' dealings. I don't know. I don't know if I want to deal with that. Not right now, anyway. trying to figure this out. Let's say I buy bronze here, buy it at what? Sell it. If I bought silver, nah, it wouldn't make very much. City of Ash, that's, how far away was that? About 7 days. Townships, here in a branch. .30-mile diameter ash field got there during the calamity. Wow. I think there's a slave market there, but I don't know. What the hell would they buy from me? fighters. Avernum offers goods that the Sadarar need. Okay, let me buy that. Asking the right people over at the market reveals a tribe dwelling in an oasis to the south of Avernum values metal greatly. Perhaps there is some profit to be made. Wonder how many I need. I may regret this. Let's see. Four days, I'm definitely gonna need more supplies. There we go. 12 days of supplies, that should be good enough, hopefully. I don't have any tools. That's a lot of money. You approach the gates. Comitat is packed up and ready to go. Grim-faced Sigurdorites approach you with slaves in tow that carry amphorae full of supplies. My contribution to the journey, the Black Knight says. 350 supplies. The guards check your cargo and talk to you briefly as the Comitatus moves through the gate. You pay your tax upon entry, and you've already paid the tax. You're finally outside the city gates. The Comitatus stretches out in a line, and you start to head towards your destination. The wasteland awaits.
With the Black Knight's investigation concluded in Avernum, we were yet again chained to his will and purpose. Commandeered from our original venture, we set out across vast plains of sand and rock in search of escaped slaves that preyed upon travelers. We could only dream that we'd make it out of this predicament alive and could return to our journey eastwards.
I don't think I was supposed to sell that metal in Avernum. Six, 8, 7. I guess it doesn't really matter. The deputy's pain is now active. Deputies are your officers in the Comitatus. On this pane, you can assign your companions to deputy roles and check what boons each deputy provides. You can assign a companion to a deputy role by dragging and dropping their portrait. One companion can only fill one role, and each role can only be filled once. Assign Morrowind to Scoutmaster. Oh. Scouting icon. Oh. Okay. Scouting allows you to gather information about what is going to happen in neighboring nodes before committing to a path by sending your scouts out. You can see all neighboring nodes represented as directions in the scouting window. Cost movement points. You can add scouts to directions you want to gain information from. Each added scout raises the chance of a successful scouting. However, each additional direction costs resourcefulness. You can see the chances of success and failure for each scouted direction. Dapper Piglet, is this a tutorial? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I thought I'd wrap it up tonight. I don't think it's going to happen. It might happen tomorrow. Let's see. We'll go direction 2. Now see the results of your scouting by the chevron. For each direction with successful scouting, percentages appear with icons related to the certain encounter type. Scroll icon indicates an event, axe, combat, compass, exploration, not yet available. In the crossed out circle, nothing happens. In case of a critical success, you get more precise information. Blue scroll, available priority event. Golden scroll, random event. Failed scouting, which is nothing critical, hurt scouts. Provides about the availability of hunting and foraging. Oh, okay. Close the scouting results by clicking X on the move to icon. Move to? Or move on. Chance of nothing. Let's see what's there. Nothing. Exciting. Yes, I can. The Chromatodus makes its way across the jagged, bone-hued reaches of the Smolderbone Flats when you glimpse a rather distinct formation from afar. First, you believe it to be an unusually tall rock, but that observation is only half true. Upon approach, you realize it is some kind of watchtower carved out from one of the region's characteristic natural stone spires. Its entrance is shielded by an awning and several guardsmen loiter around it. They appear quite relaxed, from which you conclude that there must be other, unseen, maybe even magical security around. Atop the tower, a ragged flag thrashes about, depicting a manticore, clearly the crest of the Venari trading house. Based upon the fact that you are in one of Smolderbone's more volcanic territories, you have a pretty good guess as to what this building might be, the entrance to one of the several underground mushroom plantations in the area. Although you really don't deem this place dangerous, you also have more important things to attend to. This might prove to be an excellent trading opportunity. You approach. The guards at the entrance get somewhat more attentive as you stride towards them, but still not exactly worried or alert. You'd say they are used to dealing with Chromatati and, being in the employ of merchants, might even welcome them. The way they address you supports this assumption. Well met, Vagrus. If you wish to trade, the Umfalot outpost welcomes you. Step inside, but first, leave all your weapons to our care. Rest assured they will be returned once you depart. Better not risk walking into an unknown building without means of defense. Decline and leave. Abandon your weapons and enter Umfalot outpost. You entrust your weapons to the guards and enter the tower, followed by only some of your closest companions. Several watchmen escort you down a spiral staircase worked into the malleable ground. Unsurprisingly, the tower was just a front for volcanic caverns sprawling beneath the surface. Descending on a complex array of vast rocks carved from bone, you finally enter a huge subterranean grotto of pale luminescence. The place is riddled with a sweet, musky scent and tall, tree-like fungi, each of them gently glowing in the dark. Between them, there are small huts of clay and a multitude of workers scurrying around the stems, doing harvest work. Some on ladders, some on ropes dangling from the caps high above, again others tending to the mushrooms with fertilizers and tongue. A pale, half-naked man with exceptionally bulbous eyes walks towards you smiling, arms wide open. Ah, new business partners, I reckon. Welcome. It's been a while since we've had the pleasure to speak with fellow merchants. My name is Koth, and I am the superintendent for this humble farming operation of the Venari trading family. How may I assist you? I wish to buy some mushrooms. Tell me about your operation here. Tell me about the Venari trading house. Koth looks like he's a bit on edge. Maybe you should press him about that. Press him about that. Although he tries to hide it, Superintendent Koth is visibly nervous. Is there some kind of problem, you ask? What? A problem? No, nothing that should concern you. Just a regular stress of being responsible for everything around here. Come now, you can talk to me. Maybe I can help. Try to sway him to talk. What's that? Javik, resource. Maybe this would be a time to utilize Javik's talents you give your companion assigned to help you with convincing the superintendent. Yeah. So be it, but not here. Follow me. Koth leads you to a small cavern opening from the back wall of the larger grotto and separated by a rag curtain from the rest of the farm. Judging from the piles of scrolls stacked on the desk and on the shelves, this must be his office. Even most of the workers don't know, hence the need for privacy. I am not sure I could trust you, but I am in dire need of someone competent, or at least more mobile than me. Spit it out. Superintendent Koth sighs. Might as well tell you, see, a couple months ago our mushrooms started withering, nay, rotting, which is a bit strange for something that thrives on rot to begin with. My best guess is that after exhausting the upper layers of the soil, we dug too deep and unleashed something. Maybe some kind of a magical effect, some anomaly, a residue from the calamity. We didn't even notice it in the beginning because apparently the rot eats the fungi from the inside. The first sign was when some of the workers started getting sick. Oh, it's not exactly lethal, at least not right away, but it dehydrates and weakens anyone who digests the mushrooms to a degree that makes survival in the wasteland extremely difficult. if not outright impossible. And then there's the spores that might spread the contagion further. You listen as the superintendent goes on. It doesn't appear to be very contagious, but of course, we quarantine the afflicted. Only a few select workers know. The rest we're told is a case of scurvy, which is quite believable as we tend to follow a rather simple diet around here. Meanwhile, we have just enough upper caves left to keep on harvesting healthy specimens for a while. Seeing your alarmed expression, he adds, "Oh, don't worry. Should you have purchased some of our goods already, let me assure you that we still have a large quantity of uncontaminated mushrooms. We are looking for profit, yes, but that doesn't include losing our potential long-term customers to disease. You must understand that this whole operation was entrusted to me, and my Veneri superiors are unforgiving, to put it mildly. I hoped I could find a remedy before it's too late, but now I must admit I'm at my wit's end. You seem to be someone of vast resources. Maybe you can help me out. I won't be ungrateful. I'm not sure I'm the right person for the job, but we'll see. What would you have me do? Guess you like your employers remain unaware. I could be persuaded to make sure of that. For a price. This is none of my business. Ask him what's up. Cross snorts, but his eyes are flickering around nervously. And what makes you think I couldn't have you taken into custody and flayed alive at the snap of my fingers? Well, there is a whole comitatus stationed outside of your farm. See, you could take me and my present companions rather easily, especially without our weapons, but I believe you can picture what happens if we fail to emerge from these here caves after a while. You possibly could also defeat the comitatus, yes, but your losses would still be tremendous, and if anything, that surely would gain the attention of your supervisors, who would no doubt come to investigate. You wouldn't have thought it'd be possible, but Koth grows even paler. With a smile, you continue. So let's do the reasonable thing here. You compensate me handsomely for my, let's call it silent cooperation, and I'll be on my way without further fuss. The Tartarus with you, Vagrus, Koth growls. Have it your way, then. I offer you a whole stack of fungi. You are a wise man. Thank you for your generosity. I'll be bothering you no further. I'm afraid that just won't do. Wager your possible losses. Water it. Try that. Come on. Damn! I warned you, Vagrus. Do not push me, Koth says. You either take my offer or I'll gut you myself. Consequences be damned. Maybe your rotting flesh would prove to be the exact dung our fungi need to fight the sickness. The defiance in his voice suggests he is not jesting. You know when to withdraw. Very well, let's settle on that. Thank you for your generosity. I'll be bothering you no further. The superintendent regards you with hateful eyes. Oh, just shut up and gone already. So you watch with glee as the mushroom farm's workers load your beasts of burden with sacks of precious cargo, then bid farewell to this pathetic place, knowing you were victorious today. You leave Omfalat Outpost. You ascend the racks in the spiral staircase. As you return to the surface tower, the guards hand back your weapons, and you return to the comitatus. Let's go, folks. I'm done here. Oh, I guess, I thought that'd be a quest. Guess I pissed him off too bad. Oh well. Now, let me look at these. Mushrooms. I got them for free. Oh. Not really a whole lot here. I have a full stack? Yeah, it is one stack, okay. Difference. Oh, scrap heap pay won't be worth the losses. Oh shit, I don't have to deal with those. Okay, that's what that is. Why can't I post guards? 13 fighters, one. Talking about that. I think I already did. To locate and eliminate the 3 abolitionist bandit camps scattered around the Syrian plains. One should be due south from Avernum, the other 2 perhaps east of that. Be prepared for a fight, he says mechanically, then turns to you and sees the involuntary frown on your face. Do not believe that I'm ignorant of your plight. The way he says it borders on kindness. You've been meaning to follow your agenda, but we were swept up in this investigation, I know. But my priority is always that which is best for the Empire. So if it means making you follow orders you don't like... His voice trails off and he shrugs. Both of us are equally bound, Vagrus, by the Empire, by the Triumvirate. Alright. God damn. Try to find this place. fighters? Why do I need more fighters? Damn. That sucks. Around here somewhere. There, number 2. It was about half an hour ago that you had first seen the rocky outcrops among the endless yellow sand dunes. Now that your scouts have returned from reconnaissance and not only reported that there have to be a system of caves under the rocks, but also that the caves are clearly occupied, Sidarius and his cronies are adamant that you should mount an attack. They have no doubt that this has to be one of the abolitionist camps you're looking for. Unfortunately, the scouts are absolutely certain that the people in the caves have also seen the Comitatus crossing the dunes. Make plans for an attack. What's your plan of attack, Vagrus? Sidarius asked you impatiently. Send scouts again. The final alternative ways ends. Enter the caves with your fighting crew and attack right away. You'd rather leave... Send scouts. The area is quite large and there might be countless cracks, chutes, or chasms in the rock that might provide openings in their defenses. However, it might be dangerous to snoop around. How many scouts do you wish to send? I can't. Send in several scouts. Very high chance of success. The brave scouts return with excited grins on their faces. Oh, you're gonna love this, Vagrus, one of them says, chuckling. These shitheads forgot about a hole above a fire pit, in which looks like a side room. Nobody's in that room. A group of fighters could. You nod in acknowledgement even as you cut them off with a wave of your hand. You count your forces. For this to work, you have to send in some fighters and time your frontal attack with whatever ruckus they manage to stir up inside. Sending all your forces there would never work, and the Surgarodites are not suitable for such a subversive task. So a lot of fighters, oh. Send in a few fighters. 6 out of 6. Well, you attack directly, yes. The attempt to break through the cave entrance would turn into a veritable bloodbath if not for your men who snuck into the tunnels through the hidden entrance. They fall upon the defenders at the right moment and cause sufficient chaos in their ranks. Still, several of your fighters fall by the time you reach the far end of the spacious hall on the inside. Eventually, the Surgarodites manage to crush the defenses at the other entrance and join you in the skirmish in an attempt to overpower the abolitionists. Just as Hidarius arrives at your side, you are engulfed in the melee. It is clear that more will die if you fail to defend your attackers, or defeat your attackers. Yeah, defend your attackers, yeah. Alright, let's do this. I forgot about her health being... She's near dead. Son of a bitch, alright. Wait, why is he up there? This isn't good. Seriously? 3? Crit 1. 7 point. That's not the best place, Javik. Oh, maybe it was. Okay, that bastard's making me mad. Oh. The abolitionists in the Great Hall are defeated. Those that were wounded or surrendered are begging for their lives. Most of their pleas fall on deaf ears as the Surgorots execute them one by one with an eerie glee. You can see Javik's expression and all his cruelty clearly does not make him happy. Even more alarming is the fact that your companions are badly beaten too, and too many of your crew had fallen in the skirmish. This large cavernous hall, where the two main entrances lead to, has several exits. You, Sidarius, and your companions take a group of fighters and head down the main corridor that leads deeper into the belly of the rocks, while the Surgorodite contingent secures the hall and the other tunnels. Though you are assured the main force of the enemy is broken, the corridors could be defended by remnants if they dig in. You soon reach a T-junction. Looking left, it appears the tunnel leads into a huge hall. The right-hand corridor is dark and foreboding. It's in a dark corridor. You walk carefully down the corridor, narrowing your eyes in the hopes of seeing better in the gloom. After about 30 paces, you reach a dead end. You're about to turn back when Morwen taps your shoulder. "There's a tunnel or room behind this," she says quietly, indicating a wide stone slab leaning at the rock. It takes the combined effort of Sidarius, Morwen, and several fighters to remove the slab, but it was worth it. There's a storeroom here with all kinds of goodies. You can return here after you're done and collect the loot. Morwen peeks into the room briefly while Sidarius is impatiently gritting his teeth, eager to move on. Is there something hidden behind the cracks of the stone wall? There is indeed a hidden stash in one of the larger crevices. Inside are several jugs filled with valuables. You take these now and return to the room later for the rest of the loot. You go back, head down to the other corridor. Alright, what we got? Spice. And what? Great. I suppose I have to leave those. Well, it depends on these mushrooms. I mean, okay, mushrooms versus spice and ivory. Let's just say nothing. Ooh, ivory. Still worth more than mushrooms. Alright. Wait, what? Oh, that is bullshit. Which is grain. Worth more than ivory. Mushrooms might as well just, yeah, might as well just throw these away. But there is more shit. Two. Okay, how much was the grain again? Alright. Every times. Okay. Obsidian blades. I forgot to look that up. What? What's that little red box mean? These are valuable anyway, so keeping those. Okay, stack of mushrooms versus 8 grain. I couldn't be in the hundreds here, you know. I got my calculator out for this. Grain. Six. A stack of mushrooms. Your cohort enters a large cavern. A hole in the ceiling lets in just enough sunlight to illuminate most of the Great Hall. You quickly discern that this is a living chamber, strewn with animal skins, bedrolls, fire pits, and amphorae filled with water. The enemy is upon you, so quick that your companions... This ain't good. Yeah, the AI in this game's a little interesting, huh? Get that guy, the only guy left. Uh-oh. Bleeding from several small wounds, you run down random corridors. Your companions fell one by one, so you decided to save your skin and bolted. It's a damned maze here. You are lost, your head about to explode from the throbbing pain resulting from a sling pellet. You turn a corner and freeze in your tracks. Before you stands a girl, no more than 12, trembling, holding a ragged sack clad tightly to her chest. A slave tattoo can be seen clearly on her neck. You sigh and lower your sword, leaning at the wall. It all happens very quickly. Before you can react, the girl lunges forward like a viper and stabs you with something before running down the dark tunnel. You collapse, blinding pain in your chest. What a silly way to die, yet you are dead in seconds.
That could have happened easily, see? But praise Irafons, it didn't. I just added it for dramatic effect. Now where was I?
You never get into combat. Well, at least unless you're prepared, you know. But you can't, I guess you can't heal your, I don't know if you're able to heal your combatants or not. Maybe you are later. But people were saying, I read the reviews on Steam before I bought it. They said this game is hard, so. And this is the tutorial, and I'm getting my ass beat. Oh, right. It's hard to heal your guys in here too. Yeah, I know, but they don't heal all at once. It takes a while. I'm gonna use up all my supplies just to heal. I forget it. Let's try this again. Okay, I'm gonna try to take out that orc dude ASAP. The yellow bar, I think that's power. Yeah, power. So I'm supposing that's like your MP, like your mana or whatever. Ouch. Come on. Nice. break his mind. Yeah, your abilities need power. Okay, I'm managing this a lot better this time around. Or the spice, I forget. Stack of mushrooms is damn it. Hit points, jeez. Oh, I don't want that to happen. I screwed up again. Get that one, yelled at nobody in particular. With a gurgling death cry, the last abolitionist fighter falls to the ground and an eerie quiet settles on the caves. For a long time, the only thing you hear is your rapid heartbeat and the heavy breathing of the survivors. The wounded are tended to and all the tunnels and corridors are secured. Your companions are badly beat up but will survive. You are listening to Morwen's report on casualties when Javik walks up to you with clenched fists and an angry frown. "Bastards," he hisses. "These bastards are now contemplating the murder of children, women, and the infirm." You can see that the Sergorodite cohort has gathered everyone they captured into the far end of the hall. Most of them are indeed the children of escaped slaves, very old slaves, or the few wounded survivors, both women and men. It is unclear what they plan on doing with them. Try to persuade Sidarius to give the slaves to you. You walk up to Sidarius and tell him you wish to take in all the slaves. He gives you an incredulous look and shakes his head. "I should have expected something like that from you, Vagrus. These slaves," he hesitates briefly, "their lives mean nothing, and those lives are forfeit. We are planning to give you the few useful ones as a token of our gratitude for taking part in the fight. The rest will remain here because they are not worth the bother, too young or too old. They'll get a taste of real freedom." Tell him that he owes you more than a few slaves only. It was time he started rewarding you. I can't do that. Use his own reasoning to convince him. Being slaves will be a much greater punishment to them. Well, I got this one here. Sidarius sighs after you bombarded him with arguments. He finally caves and waves you away, looking tired. "Fine, fine. It shall be as you wish, Vagrus. But know that these slaves will not be worth much to you for a while, and it is up to you to feed them and take care of them. My men will not tolerate setbacks and impertinence stemming from their presence either." The slaves, wounded, old, young, all of them, join your comitatus. Even though they are no longer free, they are alive. Javik clearly considers this an act of mercy and thanks you heartily. As for the slaves, you are not sure. You could probably take them to Avernum and sell them. That's the plan. You're ready to leave this place behind. Everyone trudges back to the Comitatus and you give the order. The wasteland awaits you. Phew! Oh god, beat the hell. Except for him. I'll make it back to only 3. Everybody now keep them loyal. What happened there? Combat. And I'm stuck here. I'm kind of seriously? Jesus. Alright. Don't really have much choice now. Crew combat. Crew combat encounters your whole Commodus fights the enemy either to protect themselves or when you happen upon another group who you decide to pick a fight with. Combat strength of your crew and of the God damn it. Please describe. Sack is not available yet, and fleet cannot be used during events. Have a high chance of success, though. Doesn't look like it, but what's all that? Select your goal for the fight. Limited based on the type of enemy you're fighting. Select a goal for this fight. Slave the bastards. Crew combat typically lasts for 3 rounds, during which you need to manage who of your crew fights and who does not. Each round. During the battle, see your enemies. I don't have any passengers, do I? Oh, there we go. Combat actions or commands you can issue before each round of crew combat to alter the course of battle or mitigate losses. Actions that are in tune with your disposition, offensive and defensive. So it's resourcefulness. Less lethal. I want less lethal. I want to massacre them. Resourcefulness. Leave that alone. Let's fight. Oh wow. That was quick. Your crew tends to the wounded in the heal phase, rolling for the recovery of each unit one by one. Severely wounded units can only be healed with a critical success. Every healing attempt has a chance to consume a medical kit. The healer perks of companions or the Vagrus, as well as certain gear and other sources, can increase the chances to heal units. You can also take additional time deducting movement points and or use resourcefulness to increase your chances. Someone died. Success critical rounds. Okay. Supplies. Oh no, damn it. Well. I don't really need it. That's the way I'm going to go. The wind picks up slowly but steadily until it's clear that a sandstorm is about to hit. Fortunately, is a milder storm and should not be much of a problem. Pulling up your hood and hiding your face behind a scarf, you order the crew to do the same and push ahead. Alright. A little closer. Utvarar. Supplies. I want to make it there. Force march. Comitatus has seen better days. In fact, your comas are in a pretty foul mood. Perhaps you can still turn things around. People by trying. Two of your fighters have the audacity to come up to you and demand extra payment for all the shit they had to put up with. Like they're the only ones listening to others' crap. Pay them a bonus, at least that will shut them up. Do not pay them. It might start a trend. Pay everyone a little extra. Just pay everyone. Things are a little screwy right now. Home to the eponymous Utvarar tribe of fire worshippers, this village is one of the few permanent settlements the Zeddarar folk have. Poised on the edge of a large, barren plateau, protected from the raging heat of nearby lava lakes, rows of soot-covered sandstone houses and tents await visitors. Everything is painted orange and red, the holy colors of the great fire spirit. Clothes, awnings, banners, and even faces. Approach a group of young warriors, seek out the shamans, hire scouts. Do a little trading here. Ice here. Gene, ivory. So for the ivory, brain cells better here. In demand. Obsidian blades. Oh, okay, that little red box, that means it's contraband. Now, maybe, because it doesn't say that here. Even though it says it's contraband. That sounds pretty good here. Definitely gonna need more than that. I wonder what this icon does. It doesn't say. Makes me wonder. Okay. But I can't sell any. I do not have any of the right there. That's weird. I received two. Okay. Oh shit, I'm out of Outriders. Two of those. It's kind of, like I said before, it's kind of cool they ride lizards. That's pretty expensive. Look at that, jeez. Avernum too, huh? I don't remember picking this dude up, but I guess I did. A wandering old man. Well, in any case, I'm gonna buy some supplies. Oh, they're out. 4 days. Well, it's not that far. 2 days of travel. This place doesn't seem to want to buy anything or sell anything. They don't have shit. Seek out the shamans. The fire shamans of the Utvarar tribe are the undisputed leaders of their people. Nobody would dare provoke their wrath, and rightly so, because like the element they worship, they can be fickle and quick to wreak havoc. The daily gathering of Utvarar's most influential shamans can be attended by outsiders as well, so you trudge over to the brickwork building where their meetings take place. Inside, it's hot as a furnace thanks to the large fire set in the middle under an opening in the ceiling. The shamans sit in a circle way too close to the flames and discuss the important matters of the tribe, as well as listen to news and propositions from outsiders. After a lengthy discussion on what the fire spirit commands, you get the chance to address the shamans. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I'm back. I got some medical supplies. The shamans gladly provide medical supplies, concoctions, lotions, poultices, tinctures, and bandages for the right price. Ask about the Utvarar. Most of them look perplexed upon hearing a request, but then an elderly shaman raises his head and starts to speak in a drawl. We are the Utvarar of the Shardarar people. Our ancestors survived the burning that destroyed the tribes of the Forgotten People that poisoned the land. Before the skies opened and the burning was sent to the earth, our ancestors heeded the warnings of the great spirits and hid underground. Later, the spirits led our ancestors out into the searing plains and showed us how to survive and where to live. The Utvarar are warriors and explorers, pioneers, who fought great battles against the many horrors that lurked in the endless deserts and fields of liquid fire to the north. Thus, Fire Spirit adopted us and we adopted it. We command the flames and heat of the land when we need to. We burn the dead and use great fires to craft things that other Shadowrar cannot. And we, like all the 4 tribes, send emissaries to the village, a Shadowrar, who guide our people in matters that concern all of us. The other shamans nod in agreement after they realized that the old man had concluded his speech. Ask him if the Vitrar are their enemies. You take heed of what you learned. Ask him if the Vitrar. Why? Why would we be enemies? One of the shamans looks at you with a confused expression. Oh, you mean because we follow Fire Spirit and they follow Water Spirit? But that would be folly. There is a balance that the Great Spirits strive for, and we need all the 4 tribes to maintain that balance. It is in nobody's interest to repeat the burning. No, outsider. We are allies and friends to the other tribes, even though our ways are our own, and we share a bloody history. Fire Spirit and Water Spirit are not enemies, they complement each other. You bow your head as a sign of understanding. Ask him about the last pilgrimage. You recount your encounters with the spectral pilgrims. Javik butts in here and there. The shamans ask some questions, then talk to each other in their native tongue. At length, one of them, a small man with a mangy mane of black hair, turns to you. We know little of these wandering spirits because we avoid them just like everyone else. There's a fire burning inside them, but this fire is not of this world. Not one with the flame of Fire Spirit. It is kindled in a searing wound, reeking of disappointment, of betrayal. And the flashes you saw, we have heard no account of such a thing. Whatever makes you and your people see them has to be the reason for the specter's apparent attraction towards you, we believe. He bows his head, indicating that this is all they can tell you. You thank the shamans for their insights. Take your leave. Hire scouts. Shadowrar are renowned for being fantastic trackers, hunters, and scouts, especially, but not exclusively, in the Searing Plains. This village almost always has adventurous tribesmen who are willing to join your comitatus for the right price. Huh. What are these scouts doing? Four young Utvarar warriors are talking in hushed tones next to a row of tents. They greet you politely when you approach them and ask them why they're staring at you. We heard your tribe travels the sands and may go to faraway lands, the oldest of them says. The fire in our hearts compels us to seek what is over the horizon. If you wish, we would join your tribe and fight for you. You can hire them if you're looking for warriors, or try to play into a sense of destiny and curiosity. Free, come on. Yeah. Yes. We shall fight for your tribe then, out of honor, the young warrior says. They grab their gear and join the comitatus. However, upon their joining, it quickly turns out that you haven't paid them recruiting fee, and this makes your comas disgruntled because they think it was less than fair to the newcomers. Can't please everyone, it seems. -1 morale, great. Okay, I think we're ready. Get back up to Avernum. What's the local news? Alright. Guess I have to sell them myself. It is high time to decide what you want to do with the slaves you've taken in at the abolitionist cave camp. Most of them are much too young or much too old to serve in a comitatus, but they might still be sold for a wee profit as household slaves. Alternatively, you could just set them free. When your Surgorodite comes are not looking, of course. Slave market. The slavers make faces when looking over your stock and tell you that these are in fairly bad shape. A few of them are worth something because they have some kind of skill or will be ideal in a pleasure house. You sell them for as much as you can. You manage to ramp up the price somewhat. Alright. I think I'm going to call it quits here for tonight. It's been 3.5 hours. I got some money. Game, saved game, new day. Alright, I think that'll be it. Everybody, thanks for watching. I'll try to be on tomorrow, if not Monday. Everybody, have a good night. Take it easy.